Let's take a look at BSR and sales per month. So let's start with BSR. This is easy to crack into. So BSR, bestseller rank, that's what it stands for. Every single thing that exists on Amazon has a BSR. Everything has a rank. Now, the bigger the number is, the worse the product is. The lower the number is, the better the product is. Think of it like if you go into an arcade like system. Okay, the player at number 1 is the best player. They've got the best score. The player at, say, I don't know, 100,000 is the worst player. They've got the lowest score. So you got to think of it like that. And, understanding BSR is super simple with that sort of thing in mind. Now, this is the little quick look box in BuyBotPro. This pops up underneath everything when you search up anything on Amazon. And here we have the BSR in the category. And so just by quickly having a scroll through, we get an idea of just how big the category is. Okay, we got 195 there, 99,521, 17,000. It gives you an idea of how crazy the scale can be because Amazon sells millions of products. So the lower the number, the better the BSR. So this one is better than this one. But say just because this one's at 77 and this one's at 80 doesn't mean that they're really going to be all that different. Obviously, everything's got to come in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but there could be a load of products that say like 1 through to 100. It's very possible they're actually at the exact same level as like the one that's at number 1, but they can't all be joint number 1. They all have to be given a number. So bear that in mind. Again, dependent on how big the category is, like if it was say 100,000, like it's very, very possible that an item at 4,260 can still be a really, really, really good item. So that's just something to think about. Now let's take a look at the estimated sales. Okay, so this is the estimated sales calculator in BuyBotPro. It gives us an estimation of the previous sales over the last 90 days, current sales based on the last 30 days. And using this information combined with data from Keeper and several inbuilt algorithms, this tool will make a prediction on the future sales over the next 90 days. So what you ideally want is for the future sales to be a lot higher than the previous sales. If it's somewhere around the same, okay, fair enough. If it's a little bit lower, again, we can deal with that. But if it's significantly lower, then there's probably no point. Unless you're only getting like a few in stock to make use of what's going on right now. Because you'll probably sell like the very few that you have like at this point where it's doing okay, but it's going to be on its way out. So if you're only getting like 1 or 2 or something like that to make it work right now, then you could make it work right now. So if you hover over this box right here, you get a breakdown of the monthly sales for this product over the last 12 months, provided that the item has existed for 12 months. So if it's not existed for 12 months, if it's only been like 3, you'll only see 3 months worth of data. So this will give us an insight into the performance of this item over the past however long. Now here it's quite crazy. There's quite a bit of inconsistency, and this is something that would worry me. So please note this down. If you see something like this, I'd probably just avoid the item. It's too crazy to rely on it. Like right now, 132 in January. Okay, you'd maybe hop onto that thinking, oh, okay, I could be one of those few hundred sales. But if you look, 3 in November, 189 in December. Yes, they're estimations, so you got to give them a bit of leeway. But it's not like it was going to be, there was 183 in November and 189 in December, and it's quite close. Like even if it was say 10 sales really in November, it's still not good enough. It's not close enough. We need consistency. That is super important to ensure that we are going to make the sale. It's too crazy. I wouldn't do that. Let's take a look at some other examples. So this one, previous sales, current sales, wow. Future sales, they're a bit lower. But I wouldn't say that they're too low to the point where I'd go, okay, I'm going to completely disregard this item. I just wouldn't order tons and tons and tons and tons of it. But these sales are still absolutely crazy. So it's not really something I'd fret about majorly at this point. Let's take a look at the sales. A few thousand per month. There is some consistency there. Yeah. Okay. We went from 2,000 to 4,000. 5,000 down to 2,000. Looks like it wasn't very popular in summer. But over the past however many months, we're looking at around 4,000. So that gives me hope that we're still looking at that number for the next couple of months. So, yep, I'd still do that one. It's not too low to the point where I wouldn't do that. If it was like something really drastic where I was seeing the previous at 11,000 and the future at like 5,000. That's a massive drop. So I'd be a bit worried about that, and it looks like it's on its way out like very quickly. So if you see a really big gap like that, you gotta wonder why. Let's take a look at another product. So this one has only existed for 3 months, but wow, this one is on its way up. This is probably one to get on because it's relatively new, it's exciting, it's fresh, and it's Back to the Future. Who doesn't love Back to the Future? And it's Lego. And also because of the price as well, it makes it a really good gift. It makes it a really good gift to someone else or oneself. You know, this is probably one to get on if you could. So let's just keep going up and up and up. Prediction there, a lot higher. So that is how we can read these sales, and we need to have the sales there. We need to have good sales to at least, make us our money. We can't make that money if we're not selling. So yeah, take a look at your sales. What sort of the lowest amount of sales per month? It really does depend on everything else you're looking at with the item as well, and what you're seeing in charts and so forth, and the predicted sales, the past sales, the consistencies, inconsistencies. It really depends on a bunch of other things. So I can't really give you a specific number of, it needs to sell this many in order to be feasible. But obviously, I would say anything that sells under about 115 times a month, probably skip. Anything over that, the higher it is, the better. So hopefully this helps.